Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. I've been putting out a series where I've been talking about popular, powerful endgame unique items in Path of Exile, how to source them, and why they're good. And today I want to talk about Asenath's Gentle Touch, a powerful set of gloves that can be sourced either through finding them from a Legion encounter, or from the Divination card Gift of Asenath. Now, the Gift of Asenath Divination card is pretty much Trade League exclusive. I'm not aware of any spot that you can deterministically farm this. I kind of suspect that it drops from the Temple of Atsuatl Legion boss, but I haven't been able to personally verify that, and I've had a couple of conflicting reports. Overwhelmingly, though, when I've traded for this item in trade leagues, people have said, yeah, I got it from a stacked deck, or yeah, I got it from a Delirium reward layer. So for that reason, I can't definitively tell you where it drops from. Anyways, without anything further, let's go and turn this in, and you'll get a sense as to what the item does, and then we can discuss why it's good. This will be two-implicit corrupted because of the Divination card, so that means that it has some extra little bonus mods on it. And I hit pretty solid rewards there, actually, on that one. That's a good hit. So, Asenath's Gentle Touch is an item that has been changed. Prior to the Legion League, there was an item named Asenath's Gentle Touch that was a pretty low impact set of gloves. They did have the curse enemies with temporal chains on hit effect, but they didn't have much of the other stats of the item. Those are legacy, those versions can't be attained in any way, and they're not very good either. Just some of them still exist in standard. However, the new version of the item is very powerful. So, it has a few mods on it. Firstly, it has a decent chunk of life, mana, and intelligence, which is always strong. It has a very poor amount of energy shield, though, only 20 energy shield. Then it has the effect, curse enemies with temporal chains on hit, with 40% increased effect. This is quite powerful. This is a very potent defensive layer, especially if you are striking enemies with various spells or whatever naturally. Like you have some ability to project damage without you requiring effort. Skills like Ball Lightning are perfect for this. Your Ball Lightning will go ahead of your character and will hit enemies before you even are aware of them, and inflict temporal chains on them, which will make them less able to retaliate. Do remember that that most bosses have quite considerable resilience against curses. This doesn't mean that they're immune. It just means that they will take less, or they'll have less effect on them. But then we have the really unique things. Non-aura curses you inflict are not removed from dying enemies. So this means that you wind up with corpses that are cursed. This normally wouldn't matter, except we then get to the next lines. Enemies near corpses affected by your curses are blinded, and enemies killed near corpses affected by your curses explode, dealing 3% of their life as physical damage. Now, 3% does not sound like much. However, this is extraordinarily scalable. Because this is a spell dealing physical damage, it can be affected by hatred, it can be affected by wrath, it can be affected by, depending upon the conversion layers that you're using. But more importantly, it's affected by things like Herald of Ash. All sorts of things can scale this up into the stratosphere. All sources of physical gained as extra of an element will scale it, and lots of other things can as well. For this reason, whilst it's only 3% of their life, it's quite a bit more considerable than that. Additionally, what tends to happen is that the first enemy that you kill doesn't explode in a pack. However, all of the later enemies will explode, and this will cause those enemies to... those enemies will be the bigger ones anyway. They'll be the ones with more health, and so that means that you'll end up with the bigger ones doing their explosions, even if the smaller ones don't. Finally, the fact that this destroys corpses outright is a powerful defensive layer. A number of enemies have sort of post-mortem explosions of their own, things like the porcupine spike explosion, and if you're the one that's causing their corpse to explode, they don't get to do their much more dangerous corpse explosion. So for instance, you can use this to become very, very resilient to things like enemy corpse explosion totems in maps that have the mod, the ceremonial mod, which causes the map to be full of totems. and more. Additionally, because this was a two-implicit corrupted, you'll notice that it has curse enemies with enfeeble on hit. This is interesting in that if your character is only capable of inflicting one curse, then you will end up inflicting, I believe, only the enfeeble, but it's only going to be one of them. But you can increase the number of curses your character can inflict at once. One popular way of doing so is on the passive tree, and I do believe they have moved this. So it was... it's not Hexmaster, that's right. They've moved the actual they've moved the thing that causes them, and the name eludes me at the moment. So let me just find the correct one. I'm just going to quickly pause the video while I find it. And it's Whispers of Doom, which is quite close to Chaos Inoculation. You can apply one additional curse. This is a very powerful effect. You'll notice that it's 3 gold oils to anoint it. And it's something that you can get, though, on any character through either spending the 3 gold oils to anoint it onto your amulet, or just simply by pathing to Whispers of Doom. The Occultist also has other options to get additional curses, and there's several other more difficult to acquire sources of extra curses as well. So with that in mind, a second curse on Asenath's Gentle Touch is actually very beneficial, because you will probably go out of your way to make sure that you can use it, and then that will give you even more benefits to your character from using it. Lastly, if you do turn in the Divination card set and you get one that's only got one socket on it, which is sort of not optimal, you can easily change that with the crafting bench, and you'll see here I got the option to make it 4 sockets. And that costs, in addition to the usual 10 Jeweler's Orbs, it also costs 10 Val Orbs. And then I can also make it 4 linked for a further 5 and 5. So 15 Val Orbs required, but then you've got yourself a set of 20 quality, 4 linked Asenath's Gentle Touch with 2 excellent implicits on it. So, that's all I've got on this item. The best way to find the divination cards is unfortunately going to be trading for them, but if you are in solo self-found and you want to get your hands on this item, what I suggest you do is you map in Glenac, Cairns and New Vestia, because this is only available from Legion encounters, and so you're going to want to maximize the number of Legion encounters you're doing. You're going to want to run as many Domains of Timeless Conflict as you can, and that will enable you to have more chances to roll a dice. However, it is still a very, very rare item. Although Asenath's Gentle Touch has fallen in price a lot in trade leagues recently, and I paid 2 exalts for my set of 5 of the Divination card, and would have paid, if I'd been willing to just purchase the gloves without the implicits, I would have only paid 50 chaos for them. In a lot of previous leagues, this has been a 15 to 25 exalt item, and it is still just as rare as it was when it was a 15 to 25 exalt item. That's all I got though. I will see you in game.